people are infected with recency bias or normalcy bias. You look at the numbers, you look at the fundamentals, you look at the logic, you look at the history. In a world of probabilities, I would say that there is going to be a moment that will, as you said, catch many people off guard because they don't see what's coming straight at them, and you can't get out of the way of what you don't see coming.
This is Kaiser Johnson with Liberty and Finance.
Welcome to Silver News Daily, your ultimate destination for all things precious metals. If you're passionate about the glimmer of silver and the world of precious metals, you're in the right place. By hitting that magical subscribe button, you're joining a community of like-minded thinkers who see the potential of silver and precious metals shaping the future. Buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the latest news and updates. Hey there, friend. It's always good to chat with someone who shares the same passion for precious metals and especially silver. Now let's talk about what's happening in the world of silver these days. And trust me, there are some fascinating developments we want to hear. So silver's been drawing some attention this week with selling taking place on Tuesday. But before you raise an eyebrow, not all has been good. Even though silver didn't entirely capitalize on the modest gains from the day before, and there were some fresh sellers hovering around $23.20 per pound of the metal. The way I see it, silver is like that tenacious running that doesn't give up easily. It's holding firm below the $10.20 mark. Looking at the grand scheme of things, silver's been dancing within a familiar trading range for some days now. After it slipped from the magical $25 mark, it may seem like it's consolidating in a slightly bearish phase. But here's where it gets interesting. The daily chart oscillators are nestled in the negative zone, but they're nowhere near oversold territory. This might indicate that, for the short term, silver could take a dip. But wait, before any rash decisions, remember that bearish traders are on the lookout for more substantial $22.85 to $2.80 region, and are keenly watching for the multi-week low before jumping in. On the right side, if there's a push beyond the $23.20 mark, we might just witness some resistance. And you know what resistance means in trading. It often offers a potential opportunity. Oh, and I got some enticing tidbits about silver future. But let's save that for a little later. You don't want to stick around for that long, trust me. Now, while you let that sink in, there's more exciting news on the horizon, especially concerning the big economic indicators that can influence silver's price. You know, what's truly fascinating about silver is its intrinsic relationship with global events. And this time, our friend silver has its eyes set on something major. The U.S. inflation data from August. Yeah, you heard that right. The upcoming inflation report has everyone, including precious metals like silver, on their toes. So, the situation, the silver price has been playing a little tug of war around that $23 mark. It's been bouncing between $22.80 and $23.20 for the past 4 trading sessions. Now, if you're wondering why it's a little indecisive, well, it's mostly because of the anticipation around the U.S. consumer price index CPI data. This report has a lot of weight in the financial world, and it certainly affects what are shining for investors. Speaking of the market, the S&P 500 opened at a period with investors playing it safe due to the looming CPI data. And you won't believe this, the U.S. inflation outlook has become quite the top concern. There's buzz about stronger wage growth and a steady labor market, which in theory sounds great. But then there's this persistent inflation of 2%. And if this continues, we might see the Federal Reserve step in and adjust interest rates. The U.S. dollar index too has been making moves, recovering quite a bit, but it's still in a wait-and-watch mode, just like many of us eagerly awaiting the CPI data. Current estimates suggest that the U.S. headline inflation could see a bump due to recovering gasoline prices. On the other hand, the core CPI, which sidesteps the ever-fluctuating oil and crude prices, is expected to maintain its pace. With all eyes on the U.S. inflation data, silver's been in a bit of a holding pattern. There's this term traders use, volatility squeeze, and silver's going through that now. But every squeeze has a breakout. We've got some levels like the 100-period exponential moving average acting as a barrier, and then there's a significant support level moving back in mid-August. So as we hear about this grand reveal of inflation data, remember this, while indicators like relative strength indexed in at a bearish influence, silver, as we know, has always been full of surprises. And who knows, the next star player for the day, the U.S. inflation data from August. This data release isn't just another number on a chart. It's a pivotal moment that holds the potential to set the stage for silver's next big move. Here's a quick lowdown for those who might not be too entrenched in the financial world. Inflation data is like a health checkup for the economy. Too high, and it indicates that prices are rising at a rate that can the value of money. Too low, and it can hint at an economy that's not growing fast enough. And right in the midst of this is the Federal Reserve, current sweet spot at 2%. The upcoming inflation data has stirred up some whispers in the market corridors. There are concerns stemming from stronger wage growth and a consistent labor market. If these numbers rise above the 2% benchmark, the Federal Reserve might have to step in. It could be looking at an interest rate hike, which, as you might guess, would have its ripple in the silver market. Now, I know it might sound like we're veering off track from our favorite topic, silver, but hang in there. The silver price dynamics are often linked to these broader economic factors. As investors await this crucial inflation data, they're also weighing the U.S. dollar index, which has shown significant recovery, but seems to be in a pause mode, kind of like waiting for the starting gun to go off. And amidst this anticipation, here's a silver bullion insight. There are estimates that U.S. headline inflation might see an upward tick, thanks to the bounce back of gasoline prices. Meanwhile, our CPI, which gives volatile elements like oil and missed anticipated to grow steadily. It's a growing period for silver enthusiasts and investors. Our glittery friend is delivering the shadow box, preparing for its next move out. And as we await the bell to keep our strategies nimble, our knowledge updated, and our excitement levels high. Coming up, we've got a spotlight on some key technicals and external factors that might just hold the keys to silver's next big dance move. Stay with me. All right, my astute friend, let's shift gears for a moment and head into the heart of the financial jungle, Wall Street. Ever notice how silver doesn't just dance to a number two, but also responds to the whiff of the markets? Well, that's what makes our journey all the more thrilling. The S&P 500 is a vital indicator of the health of the U.S. stock market, and by extension, the global market sector has just put out a signal. It's open on a somewhat correction. Think of it as a cloudy day where investors are getting a tad cautious. Why, you ask? It all ties back to our previous conversation, the anticipated U.S. Consumer Price Index, CPI. It's like the call where every player on the field is waiting for the whistle. And here's a twist. While silver has been oscillating, and the broader markets have been treading with caution, there's a general consensus growing about inflation. Many market players are feeling a tad uneasy about it. If inflation doesn't stay within that 2% threshold, the Federal Reserve might have to take some bold steps. And when they move, ripples are felt far and wide, not just in gold and silver, but across all asset classes. Another key player in this grand tapestry is the U.S. dollar DXY. It's kind of like the thermometer of global economic week. Recently, it's made a commendable recovery, inching close to 104.90. But much like a mountaineer pausing for the final ascent, it's waiting for a sign, a direction. And that direction, my friend, is likely to come from, you guessed it, the U.S. CPI data. All these seemingly separate threads are intricately woven together in the grand narrative of silver. The CPI, the Federal Reserve's actions, the broader stock markets, and the currency index are all key players. And they're all set to play their part in the upcoming act of this drama. Remember, all these macro events shape the trajectory of silver's equities remain rooted in its intrinsic value in history and the trust millions place in it. As we navigate through these intertwined narratives, one thing remains clear. The world of silver is not just about the metal. It's about the stories that govern the economies and the has their eyes peeled. This data isn't just a number, it's an indicator of economic health, and it sets the tone for future strategies. Adding to the excitement, forecasts suggest the U.S. headline inflation would surge by 0.5%